Is an old diesel estate all you really need from a daily driver? Let's discuss in this video. Now, 70mi have sent me out their latest and greatest dashcam kit for review. They are the sponsor of today's video. So then, this is 70mi's latest and greatest dashcam kit. It is their A510. Now, I actually installed the previous version on my BMW 130i and I was impressed with the results. So it's going to be interesting to see how it compares to this one right here. Again, this one features their Starvis 2 sensor, so quality should be top notch. But I think first and foremost, let's get this thing unboxed and then we can get it installed onto the car. Okay, so as always then, packaging is top notch, feels very high quality. In here we should have installation instructions. Yep, so we have a user manual for the rear camera, a user manual for the front facing camera, also a micro SD card. It comes included, a 64GB one, which should be plenty enough, and then some various different sticky pads and screen protectors. Now then, let's move on to the juicy stuff. So we have the A510 dashcam itself. It was very similar to the previous generation, so yeah, we'll be interested to see how this compares. But yeah, very small, just mounts onto your front windscreen, of course, and yeah, you know, relatively simple. It's a dashcam at the end of the day. Then of course we have the rear facing camera as well. This is absolutely tiny, but yeah, again, should do the job quite nicely. And then in here we should have all of our, well, we have a trim tool, then we have all of our cables and things as well, plenty enough. Then here we have a cigarette lighter style 12-volt socket to plug into a car, and then we have a mount as well to mount it to the windscreen. And then of course we have the 4G hardwire kit as well, because yes, this dashcam is 4G connected. Right then, let's get all this installed onto the car and let's take it out for a spin. So then let's talk a little bit about 70mi's new A510 dashcam. As I already mentioned, it features a Sony Starvis 2 sensor. It records in 1944p HDR. With the use of the front facing camera and rear facing camera, it allows for dual channel recording. Built in, it has both GPS and ADAS. With the use of the hardwire kit, this dashcam comes with 4G connectivity. A handy part of this is the Find My Car feature, so you could say the dashcam acts as a tracker for your car. Now, the thing that I like about this dashcam is the usability. It's so simple and easy to use. It comes with an app so you can see live video on your phone. When it comes to setup, it really doesn't take long at all. And if I can set this thing up in a matter of minutes, then I'm pretty sure you can as well. So is an old diesel estate all you need for a daily driver? Now, when I think of a daily driver, there's probably 3, maybe 4 boxes that I want it to tick. So it's got to be somewhat economical, unless of course you don't really do any amount of miles. You know, if you work from home or you don't really drive all that much, then I suppose it hasn't really got to be economical, because the difference is going to be, you know, not really much. You want a daily driver to be reliable, because you know, it's a daily driver, you depend on it day in, day out. You don't want to spend half of its life in the garage or at the side of a road, so I think that's definitely important. You want a car that's practical, because if you drive this car day in, day out, then you probably want enough room to have people at the back. You probably want a big enough boot space to carry things around. And I guess the fourth point that you probably want to tick is comfort. You want a relative, you know, level of comfort, because you are going to probably spend a lot of time in it. And so this is why I think a old diesel estate ticks all of these boxes, especially my 2010 BMW E91 that I'm currently sat in now. I mean, these cars can be picked up for really not a lot of money at this point. This car is very cheap to run, it's very cheap to tax, very cheap to insure, is absolutely great on fuel. You're looking at 50 to 60 mpg, especially on the motorway. Once it's had a few common problems fixed, it's actually proved to be very reliable. I mean, I have had this car now for less than a year, but I've covered around 15,000 miles in that time, and it's never left me at the side of a road. It's never failed to start. And even though this car now has covered over 190,000 miles, I trust this car. Like, I'm not afraid to go on a long distance trip. I took this car to France and back and I had no issues. So yeah, I would say this car is a very reliable car, if looked after, of course. Now, practicality. Naturally, it's an estate. It has a huge boot. The seats can go down. I'm pretty sure even I could probably lie down in this thing if I needed to. You can comfortably fit 4 adults in this thing. I mean, like I said, I'm tall. I'm a 6'4". I'm sat in a comfortable driving position, but there's still enough room in the back to get a full-size adult behind me. And the last box that this car ticks, comfort. It's very comfortable. Like I said, I've drove this car to France and back. I've drove it on numerous road trips. You know, I spend a lot of time in this car just going up and down the motorway, and it's a very comfortable car. It's a 3 Series, so you have to bear that in mind. It's going to be a little bit more comfortable than, say, a 1 Series, but you're not going to have the same comfort level as, say, a 5 Series or a 7 Series. But comfort levels are still more than acceptable. Here is some footage of me driving at night, and as you can see, quality is still very good. For the price that this thing is, I don't think you can complain. I think it is going to be a great addition to any car. Now then, me talking about daily drivers, I guess it's kind of me talking from my perspective, and I understand that not everyone has the luxury of having multiple cars. So if you only have one car, then you are probably going to want something slightly nicer than an old diesel estate. You know, you probably want something slightly newer. You probably want something that's a little bit more exciting. Now, don't get me wrong, in something that is, you know, 150 to 200 brake horsepower, I think that's more than enough for what you need, you know, for daily driver duties. But on the times that you really want to push on and have some fun, it's probably not going to cut it, let's be honest. And so if you only have one daily driver, then there are even more boxes that you want it to tick. You probably want it to be somewhat economical. Of course, you want it to be comfortable. You want it to be relatively practical. Of course, you want it to be reliable, but then you also want it to be fun and engaging to drive. And trying to find a car that ticks all of those boxes is pretty difficult. And so I think in the most ideal scenario, you will have an old diesel estate as a daily driver, and then you'll maybe have something a little bit more fruity, maybe a 6-cylinder, slightly bigger engine, or, you know, a little 2-seater sports car that you can take for you know, a spin on the weekend and have some fun in. Now, please bear in mind again that I am talking in an ideal scenario. So I know there's going to be people in the comments that are saying, I live in a ULEZ zone, I can't drive an old diesel estate unless I want to pay £12.50 a day. Yes, I completely understand. There is a big portion of the country that lives within a ULEZ zone, but you also have to understand there's a big portion of the country that doesn't live in a ULEZ zone, and for those people, an old diesel estate is a great choice. Okay then, so I am very interested to know your thoughts on this. Let me know down in the comment section below your ideal daily driver. Now, I've mentioned that, in my opinion, I think an old diesel estate is an ideal daily driver if you have 2 cars. You know, you have this and you have a small 2-seater sports car or whatever to have your fun in. But let me know what your ultimate daily driver would be if you only have just one car. Bear in mind, like I said, it's got to tick all of those boxes that I've mentioned. Let me know down in the comment section below. Okay, so we're back home now then. For those that want to check out 70 mi, or maybe you want to check out this dash cam in particular, there will be all of the links down in the description box below. I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank 70 mi for sponsoring this video. Remember to give it a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I will see you all in that next one,